You can all be seated.
I got it.
So these two didn't go through marriage counseling, so this is what they get right now, and you get to listen in. And you can help and reinforce this later. So it's the longest part of the ceremony, but hopefully it won't be too painful here. So I had a challenge in preparing this today, and I expressed this to Nick and Rebekah. This is a day of celebration for these two, yet it's also the most solemn day of their young life. And marriage is a special and set-apart entity. It's holy, it's for life, and it transcends what happens every other day of our lives. It's the pivot point of our life. So how do I express to Nick and Rebekah how holy and terribly awesome this day is without bringing down the whole evening? Well, I actually decided to only talk about the celebration, but Nick said to say what needs to be said, so maybe I can balance the seriousness and the celebration together, and I'm going to try to do that. Eden was a place where the shalom of God, the peace of God, was on earth, and it was perfect. And here's what it said in Genesis. It says, "And God saw everything he made, and behold, it was very good." He didn't say it was good, he said it was very good. So a little later, we find out one tweak that God wanted to make. God said that man's work in the garden was not enough for him. God saw the animals, and they weren't a good enough companion for the man. God felt compassion for the man and loved him so much that he made woman. So God is the creator of marriage. God knew, Nick, that you were very good alone, but you needed Rebekah to be complete. Rebekah, God created you a strong and capable woman. You're a wonder of God's work. But there is something God made about marriage, and having a child showed you how strong he made you. You two individuals will become more than 1 + 1, and I don't mean by having lots of babies. I know you'll have that, although that's a part of it. You are a new kind of entity when you're married, and it's supernatural, it's strange, it's like totally natural on the other hand. It's going to be your greatest joy. It'll also be the hardest undertaking that you've ever tried to do. Any married person in this crowd, whether married currently or in the past, will tell you how hard marriage is, and it's the hardest thing they ever did. Yes, it'll be fun, and yes, it'll be nice to have companionships, but there also are times when it's hard. And it makes total sense when you commit to being face-to-face every day of your life, and you truly expose your soul to your mate, that you're as vulnerable as you can possibly be, as you probably discovered this past year. And we as humans are not good at keeping the hearts of others, even our mates. So Nick and Rebekah, we're here to show our love for you, and we have something to share with you. How many people here who have been married have had a rough day or two with their spouse at some point? See all these hands? A few? Now don't raise your hands on the next one. How many have had a rough year or two with your spouse at some point? You don't have to answer. Trust me, Nick and Rebekah, everyone here knows what I'm saying. Whatever you think it's going to be all of that, but it's also going to be the biggest challenge of your life. And I jokingly call out bad days or bad years, but your former pastor, Matt Chandler, remember him? He's pretty open, and he talks about his first 7 years of his marriage to his wife, Lauren. And he said that he used to lay in his bed and cry, wanting to end his marriage. That's how bad it was for 7 years. And God told him to hang on. And I honestly think that every marriage comes to that point. Matt had it 7 years, and sometimes in loving someone well and learning to love someone well, it's even longer than that. And when the days come like that, you'll remember this talk, I hope, and your friends that you have here to support you. Yes, here's the marriage advice that I've actually earned in learning, and I've earned it through pain of my own. The secret of marriage, are you ready? I'm going to give them the real secret if anybody wants to know. The secret of marriage is love. All right, you feel cheated, right? Yeah, I've lost you already. You thought I was going to say something profound, and instead you got a cliche. Maybe hang on with me for a moment. Love and marriage, the way that the world defines it, does not work very well. Divorce is rampant. There's a lot of unhappiness in even the marriages that exist and stay together today. Yet, love is the secret. But let me redefine love for you. So we started in Genesis. Let me flip forward pretty far down the Bible. And a few years after Jesus walked the earth, God rose up a man named Paul who wrote letters to the communities that were forming. And he was a really good counselor. And Paul wrote in some letters to the Ephesians something here. He said, "Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." So Paul gave the same secret advice that I'm giving you. that love is the answer. But he added a little something in there. He said, as Christ loved the church. Okay, so what's the secret sauce, the other definition of love? How did Jesus love the church? Well, I'm going to tell you. I don't have a lot of time, so I'll give you one short example. Are you doing okay? I don't want anybody fainting, okay? All right. Let's get back 20 years from when Paul wrote that to the day just before Jesus was died on the cross. You can read this account if you want in Matthew 26. Jesus knows that the next day is going to bring brutal beatings, torture, execution, and his death, and hanging on the cross for hours. Can you imagine knowing that in your mind and knowing that you have to face the next day? So he felt a terrible weight, and he went to a garden place to pray. And the Bible says he began to be sorrowful and troubled. And he cried out loud, "Father, if there's any way for this to pass from me, let it happen." All right, now wait a minute. The Son of God who came to earth for one purpose is now asking God not to fulfill what he came here to do. That's what he's basically asking in the garden. Not to do what he came for. How human is that? So 3 times he went back to the garden that night and said the same thing. "Please, God, let this pass from me." Except he added one more thing. He said, except by your will be done. So, if he hadn't prayed that last part, we might have been left in our sin. And that's a horrible thing. And here's the turn. The 3 times that he asked, what if Jesus had given up and not fulfilled his destiny? That's what he wanted at that moment. It would have been disastrous for us. Knowing full well what was going to happen, the pain and suffering, he put his love for the Father ahead of love for himself. Now we're getting to the real love here. There you go. That's the secret sauce. The kind of love that Jesus had for us. He yielded to the Father. He bent the knee and gave up all his own rights in order to love us, his church, well. So, Rebekah and Nick, I've taken love from a cliche to the most powerful influence ever known. The love that you're going to need is not a 50-50 love. I give up half of what I have and bring, and you give up half of what you bring. That sounds pretty logical, but that's not it. I'm just sorry to say. Giving up half is a lot, but it's not enough. Most marriages don't even come close to giving up half of what they have in rights to give up to each other. Nope, it's not 50-50. It's not 75-25. It's not 90-10. The love that is required in marriage is 100-0. You're going to be required to trust God that he knows what he's doing, and his love makes sense when you have every right to your own way, and your own opinion, your own life, and to what you want. Let me get even more real here. Is even giving anything short of 100% really love? I think it's just like cooperation or partnership or trading, and those things all break down. You only get to learn what love is when you have to give up everything and bend the knee to God, knowing that he'll take care of what you need and your dignity. And this is the love you're to have for each other. That's a deep and awesome thing. It's the love that gives up all rights to being right, your own wants, what we think, what we want, the right way, the right thing. So, on this day of celebration, I'll try my best to bring us back, but I implore you to seek out how to have this type of love in your lives, individually, so that you can love each other with that type of love. Everyone here loves you. When you're in a hard time, like we've described, reach out to those who love you. And part of why we're here is to show you how much we care and rely on us and use that. Nick, trust God enough to love Rebekah like this, to give up your rights, your ways, your wants, your trust, and trust that God will keep you. This is the love that Jesus had for you. Rebekah, trust that God is in control and love Nick like this. Love it not because he deserves it, because sometimes he won't deserve it. Love him because it's a sacrifice, and you'll be rewarded with a man who's like a rock. That's it. That's the secret sauce. It's the only thing you have to know. Either you have a marriage like this and it lives, or you don't have it and it dies. The only way you will have strength to love this way is to ask your God to lend you his love. He's the author and creator of this type of love. I encourage you to know him more for the sake of your marriage and your children. So all that being said, you're going to have a blast. You already know what it's like to have a built-in companion and a helpmate, and how awesome children make us and what we are, and how fun it is to work on making them. How safe it feels to know that someone has your back. You already know how powerful it is to be a couple. Your love is awesome. Raising your family is awesome. Growing old together is going to be awesome. I see my parents in their mid-80s, and they're closer than ever, and it's awesome. So let's just get moving before it gets too dark and you can become man and wife.
Stop on him. Get up here and sit. Come on. Listen, you got to be quiet.
Nick, do you have something that you want to say to your bride, Rebekah?
Some vows for her, and some things that I'd love to say about her anyway, so. I vow to be patient with you every day that I see you. Every time I come home for work and I'm tired, I vow to be patient with you. I vow to love Issa and you every single day and to never forsake y'all. I vow to keep y'all safe. I vow to love you until the day we die. I vow to protect y'all. I vow to... Oh, wait, I said that already. Sorry. Anyways, pretty much... I just think that you're literally the best person on the planet. I think that you've done more for me than anybody on this planet. Thanks for taking care of Issa every single day. You're the best mom I've ever met in my whole entire life. So, I'm so undeserving of you, but I'm so glad that you took me today and that we're gonna get married. So, I love you, baby.
All right, let me see.
Rebekah, do you have something to say to Nick?
Okay, because I'm really nervous and I didn't want to forget anything. Okay, Dominick, you're my first true love. I'm so excited and full of happiness to be able to marry my best friend and soulmate. You are the one who makes me so happy, always supporting me and protecting me against any harm. So many happy memories, and I can't wait to make more with you and Isabella. I promise to be faithful and a good wife and mother to our beautiful daughter, and to always stand by you and to love you with all my heart. For the rest of my life, I want you by my side, no matter what life throws at us. To us!
Wonderful. Now for the I do's. So it's cut off on my piece of paper, so we're going to wing this a little bit. Do you, Dominick, take Rebekah to be your lawful wife this day forward for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, till death do you part, according to God's holy ordinance?
I do.
We want to catch that. Make sure it's recorded. Do you, Rebekah, take Dominick to be your wedded husband, to love and hold for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, according to God's holy ordinance?
Yeah!
She does. She does. All right. I'm not going to pronounce you man and wife yet. We're going to have some music and you can light the candle. Beautiful. Thank you, Dad, for the candles. You don't get your rings yet. All right, in our culture, rings are worn on the left hand as a symbol of commitment to marriage. So Nick, repeat after me. I, Nick, give to you, Rebekah, to love, honor, and a promise to love, honor, and respect you. And then you place the ring on her finger. There might have been more, but it's cut off on my paper, so we get what we get. And then Rebekah, repeat after me. I, Rebekah, give to you, Nick, this ring as a symbol to love, honor, of my love, honor, and respect for you. Good enough. And place the ring on his finger. We're getting to some really good parts here. So we're just going to ask God to bless you one more time. Oh God, bless this couple. May they be fruitful. Bless them with their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren. Grant them old age together, we pray. In the name of of Jesus. Nick and Rebekah, you may kiss your bride, and I pronounce you man and wife. That's at the reception, but you can do it. Yeah, just do it.
It's all yours, Austin.